So welcome, guys. Nice to see you.
Yeah.
And let's talk about your new record, The Classic Symptoms of a Broken Spirit. I mean, it's a very difficult name, right? How did you deal with it?
Yeah, it's a
very moody name, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not the cheeriest of album titles, but we're pretty known for not having the happiest album titles. Yeah, it's just I really like I guess like a reflection on where we're at. I think as a kind of species, and kind of looking at the bigger picture of just no one's doing enough. We're not doing enough, and it's yeah, pretty heartbreaking to see everything after all this time start to sort of end. And basically, yeah, just being like it's really exhausting trying to sort of drag people through that and trying to get people to listen and change their ways. And I think especially with like people and protesters and people that are fighting for these injustices, to feel like the governments aren't listening to them and aren't being taken seriously, especially like the youth of today feeling like they're not represented or listened to. Yeah, it feels pretty tiring. So yeah, it's the classic symptoms of people that are just fed up.
So it's typical that you have a concept on your album. So you talking to each other before, or how can I imagine that?
I mean, it's Dan that writes the lyrics for our songs. He shares them with us, and obviously, like, Sam records vocal demos, so like me and him see them beforehand. But I don't think we ever really discuss like what do we want this album to be about. It's more just like it's like,
kind of just like our conversations with we're always talking all the time, so it's nothing sort of comes as a surprise really.
Yeah, it's very much a reflection of the group's feeling about how the situation is for us and for humanity, and we're all on the same page. But I mean, it's really coming from Dan, like lyrically, so he's not going like, right guys, what should I write about? It's like we're all having these conversations about the world and our situation, and it's a reflection of the group's feeling for sure. But it's not like discussed in advance or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your last album, it was a pandemic album. I mean, so you wrote it in different places, so you never met each other, is it right?
We did, the record itself was actually written before the pandemic. So we had actually been traveling to Australia, and we played some shows in Australia, and then on the way home we went to Bali, and we finished off the record when we were in Bali. Like, we rented a villa and we lived there for a little bit, and it was really like amazing. It was just so great being in Bali and writing music. It's like, that's like dream come true stuff. And the album was finished then. Me and Ali flew home, and then like a week after we flew home, that's when Dan had to fly back from Bali because he was going to live out there for a few months. And he had to rush back because all the borders were closing and we needed to record this record. And yeah, so then we recorded it, but we recorded it separately. So Dan went to the studio with Ali because only 2 people were allowed to go and track the drums. And then the guitars and the bass were recorded at home. Me and Dan recorded the vocals together in Brighton. We were just 2 of us.
So crazy.
Yeah, it was horrible really, because you know, part of the fun of making an album is having that like immediate feedback from each other. Yeah. And although everyone plays a different instrument, or you know, Sam does vocals, like the funnest instrument, you'll give feedback on each other's performances, and that's when, you know, there's still some room for like creativity of the songs. Like, so you miss that so much. Like, I would just sit at home and record the bass, send it to Josh and be like, is this okay? Like Josh is such an insanely talented guitarist, so I would just kind of run it by him and he'd be like, yeah, sounds good to me, cool, send it to the guy that's mixing it. It was very like, you lose all of that like magic. It's a very efficient way of working because you don't have to pay for studio time.
We were super lucky that we'd had that time to get the record finished first. So there was that sort of element of creativity, but not the same as like pushing yourselves as a player, you know?
Yeah, there's an element of studio magic that goes missing when you're...
How crazy is it that it's this record, it goes directly on the charts on, I think, on the first place.
Yeah,
so
we did
you
number...
had a big success
Yeah.
with a pandemic record. So crazy.
It was mad. It was mad. I think we got number 1 in Australia, number 1 in the UK, number 2 in Germany. Not bitter about that at all. Not fed up with Alice Cooper beating us. No, it's fine. It was amazing. It was a real like surprise for us, actually, like a real shock. We didn't think that we'd never had a top 10 record, let alone a number 1. Like the highest we'd ever gone in the UK was like 16. So yeah, for that reaction, it was crazy. What was nice actually is now coming off the back of that, being able to be in the studio together and being able to be creative, like that, being able to like really act upon the things that we missed from the last one, kind of helps us feel like things are getting back to normal. And also it just means that when we go on tour, it's just going to be a really long set. There's going to be loads of songs.
So your new record, you started to write and produce directly after your last record. Mm-hmm. Why did you do that? Maybe a break is sometimes a good thing, or did you think no? We start.
We don't really.
Yeah,
we
never
don't really
stop.
take a break in between making albums. Like we basically start working on the next one as soon as the last song has been mixed on the previous one. Yeah. It's just the way the band works. Like we have two very like the Josh and Dan that write in the band. They do it instinctively. It's not like a chore to start working on a record for us. It's like, cool, let's move on to the next thing. Like it's fun and we love doing it. So there's no reason that we would ever stop. Like we've got this album ready to be released and we're already working on the next one. It's just how the band's worked for years.
This one feels more like a pandemic record as well.
Oh, really? Why?
Because we wrote it in the pandemic.
You wrote it, but you produced it together in the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were allowed in the studio together. So we weren't allowed to play shows, but we were allowed to be together in the studio. So because the record had already been written and recorded, immediately we started demoing. So the record was finished being recording probably after the first lockdown in the UK. Just after that, we finished it. And I mean, before the record had even come out, we had a few songs finished for this one. So yeah, it was just like that was sort of the time when we were allowed to kind of be around each other. And it was really exciting actually because we hadn't all been together. Really, so I think the first time we were actually all in the same room together, the other album was out and it had like a number 1, and then we were in the studio doing like Deep Fake and New Moral Low Ground like together. That was the first time we saw each other. So it was like, oh, congratulations, let's carry on writing music.
I heard 5 songs of your new album. So Deep Fake, Doom Scrolling, and When You Were Young, Tear Gas. So I think Tear Gas, your intro, it sounds like Rammstein. Du hast, you know that song?
Yeah. I know that song. Yeah.
What can you say about it? Is that was that a reason for you to have this electronic post-rock sound in it?
Yeah, I think we are very influenced by that band. I think there's ways of going around stuff and being influenced by bands without just taking riffs, you know? Like we're obviously influenced by Rammstein, we're obviously influenced by industrial music at the moment, bands like Nine Inch Nails and bands like Health. We're really into that sort of side of things and pushing ourselves as musicians and moving into this sort of synth heavy, like weird trance metal world. I'm really enjoying that. But I think, yeah, if people say it sounds like Rammstein, that's fine. That's great. We love Rammstein. And you know, what an amazing band.
It's a compliment, really. Yeah. But I think any, you know, if you're a metal band and you start playing around with industrial sounds, there's really going to be one comparison that's drawn, and it's Rammstein. And it's fine. Like they're a great band, and I think we've definitely in the past couple of years been like more into that band. Like obviously Rammstein have been on our radar for years, like everyone knows that band, but I think we've become more interested in their music in the past couple of years, whereas in the past it was more like, what a fun band this is, like these shows are insane that they put on, but now we're a bit more like, they're actually a sick band. Like enjoy listening to them.
I think also we're used to bands ripping us off and taking our riffs and our sort of sounds, that we're aware that when we're writing music that is influenced by people like Rammstein, to not just take their riffs, to like actually just sort of be influenced by it and take sort of almost like have respect for them, you know, and kind of be like respectfully influenced by them, not just like taking the Sonne riff or the Du Hast riff, you know, trying to be like a band that could support them. You know, like a band, like if you went to go and see Rammstein and you saw us as a main support, then and if you liked that band, then maybe you would like our band, rather than someone just being like, hey, you can't steal my favorite band's riff, you know?
So that's your big dream, to support Rammstein?
Hell yeah. I would love to.
I think I'd actually hate it, because we would look like a pub band.
No.
We would our show would be so insignificant compared to theirs that it would be, I think it'd be detrimental to us to play in front of them.
They're like one of the best shows ever. I mean, that live show, you can't fuck with it. When you're like talking about like Rammstein and that sort of sound, we fucking love Germany. We've always loved Germany. We've always been here. We've always been playing shows here. It's one of the first places. It's the first place outside of the UK I played a show with Architects and Trier. Was that Trier? Yeah.
It's in the middle of Germany.
Yeah, that was the first place.
The Mosel. There you have many wine mountains.
Yeah.
Very beautiful.
It was amazing, but we have such an affinity with here and loving being here and growing up and getting in the van and, you know, driving here and playing shows. So I think obviously we were going to get affected and influenced by German sort of music as well. And hey, if German people start to really, really like us even more, then that's great.
That is so crazy that many bands from UK said, okay, we love Germany.
It's the best.
Why? I can't remember, because when I go to UK, for me it's my favorite. So I saw you at Elites 11 years ago with Bring Me the Horizon. And I saw Nick Cave and my favorite bands on the first time in UK. Yeah. And I love the mood there, the vibe. So I can't understand it that you say, okay, Germany is the best.
I think it's just for like the genre that our band is kind of born out of. It like the metal and hardcore community in Germany is like it's like nowhere else really. It's super like, it's very inclusive, and like every time we've ever been to Germany, like as a touring band, you get looked after so well.
That's so key as well, especially when you're younger, and like you don't get riders or looked after anywhere else in the world. And then the first time you come to Germany, it's like as soon as your fridge is empty with beer, someone's coming in and refilling it for you and being like.
And it doesn't matter if you're like opening a 7-band bill or whether you're Rammstein. Like everyone gets looked after really well, and I mean it's a beautiful country, and like there's no like. If you're doing like a German tour, there's no like, oh, this show's going to be a bit shit tomorrow. It's like every show's good, and I mean the crowds are just like they don't care, like they don't have inhibitions. Like crowds are always super enthusiastic, and I think we've always like, I think when we started like playing more out of the UK, we were like, wow, Germany's like that's like somewhere we want to keep going to. It's not fake. It's sincere.
When we have a bad mood, then we have a bad mood.
Yeah.
So
And like, and it's funny because when people don't like something we're doing, they tell us very directly. And I think at first it's a little bit like, holy shit, like, all right, like, sorry. But now it's more like, You don't like that song? Yeah, cool. Tell us. We don't care. You're being honest. It's great.
I think it's like Germany is just so respectful of the music though, and like understands touring bands and energies and there's a lot of shows coming through Germany and all the shows are busy.
And the like metal and like hardcore festivals here are so insane. They're like nowhere else in the world does it like Germany does. And I think like just every time we've come here, it's like this is so perfect for us. Like it feels like the country's like made for it or something. I don't know.
We've done a lot of festivals around the world and we've done a lot of shows around the world. But like the German festivals are just something else.
So what is your favorite festival in Germany?
Rock am Ring. Yeah. And Rock im Park, both of them.
I saw you many times there, yeah.
It's fucking unbelievable. It's so good.
I think one of the it's such a great festival for metal bands, but I think as well like, you know, we'll have like an amazing show at Rock am Ring or Rock im Park, and then go get a couple of beers and watch like Kings of Leon or something. Yeah. It's like a super like diverse lineup every time, and there's festivals like that in the UK, but I think, you know, like Reading and Leeds Festival or whatever, they're really cool festivals and we've always loved them. But the metal bands don't have quite the same support like they do at Rock am Ring and Rock im Park. Like
it's the genre as a whole. I think in Germany, like rock and metal is put in together, and it's like you get to play with some amazing bands out here. Like, you know, there's always those German festivals where you're like, who the fuck is on after us? And you're like, oh, Leonard fucking Skinner's on after us. Like, what are the chances of us doing that? And like playing shows where, you know, like you got like Jurassic 5 on before you, and you're like, cool, I get to play a show with like one of my favorite hip hop bands. Like, what the fuck is going on? And yeah, it's just amazing how many festivals there are, and the fact that you can like base your summer on touring German festivals and playing shows in between, and just knowing, like Ali says, like everyone is going to be special for a certain reason. But yeah, Rock am Ring, Rock im Park they're just something else. They're like dream come true slots every time. Like you walk on stage and you're like, this is what it's about being in a band, you know.
For me, it's so normal to go there and to see German bands, metal bands from UK, and I love the mix. So you can see the hip hop bands from Germany. So, but it's totally normal for me. So that's a good thing that you say. So now it's nice. So you had many features on the last record. So can we expect on your new album feature, maybe with Rammstein?
Yeah. I wish we had that on this record. We don't have any guests on this record at all, actually. The last one we had 3, so we don't have any on this one. So I would bet on the one after this one that there would be someone. But I'd love to like mix it up. I'd love to try and get Hayley Williams or Phoebe Bridgers on it, because I think there's been enough men on our records now. I think it's time to sort of branch out and have a female vocalist on something. I think that would add a cool layer to this band that we haven't explored before. If not, we'll do a Rammstein. I'll sing on a Rammstein. If I have to sing on a Rammstein song, I will sing on one as well. If they want to get in touch with our management, I can make that happen for them.
So what will be your dream feature? It could be fictive. So maybe the man or the woman is dead. It doesn't matter. So your dream feature for an album.
Oh, honestly, I think for me, having Hayley Williams on a song would be like a dream, because I think as a band we've always had so much respect for Paramore and for her voice and actually the stuff that she's done for the scene and for hardcore bands, and yeah, I would love to have that. And again, Phoebe Bridgers, it would be a dream to have her. Exactly, and I'm a massive fan of her, and we're all massive fans of Phoebe Bridgers as well, and Hayley. So I think either of them would be a dream. But yeah, I don't really know. Maybe
I don't think you're going to top that.
Yeah, I don't think you. Yeah, I think those two would be good.
There's obviously lots of like vocalists that we love in different bands, but I think like you just summarised it very well. Could add so much to it.
I'm sowing the seed here. This is the seed being sown. and then they'll get an email soon of me begging.
So we need more women in the rock scene.
Absolutely.
So it's very important.
Yeah.
And let's talk about your cover. So the last cover with the astronaut, there were big trouble with a German band. Do you remember it?
Yeah.
So I read about it, that they...
No trouble from us though.
No trouble for us. Okay, for you.
Very, I remember seeing it. I remember seeing a band doing it. And I actually remember seeing people just really pile on this band and give them a load of hell. And it was like, it's not our vibe to sort of attack people and be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, people, they may not have known, they may have known, they may have not thought it through. Like, people make mistakes. So yeah, we definitely are not the kind of band that would ever jump on someone doing something like that. And I think Dan in particular like did a post being like, I leave these guys alone. Like, I designed the front cover for the record and I'm flattered. So yeah, we were...
whether it was intentional or coincidence, it was funny. Yeah. And we definitely weren't annoyed by it. And yeah, like Sam just said, it's like, if it was intentional and, you know, someone just thought what we had done was cool and they, you know, thought, oh, let's do something like that, it's a compliment. And we definitely weren't like, we had no ill feelings towards them for what happened. Yeah. And like Sam says, like, whenever that kind of thing happens and like the internet just piles on someone about it, that's not cool. Like, we totally don't condone that. And
imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Absolutely.
That's
I thought it's maybe the reason why you have the white cover, you know? I thought, okay, now we have no picture in the cover. That's the reason.
Yeah, we really wanted to do something different from the last one because the last one was so like grandiose and big and it would feel like just trying to rip off ourselves. You know, it's such a great piece of art and such a great photo that, yeah, I felt like with this one, just really simplifying it, going with a new font and like a new start for the band was important. New logo, bringing back the double dash from Lost Forever. I thought it was a cool thing to do, and I think actually when people get the record, they'll see the inside of the art is pretty cool as well. And yeah, we worked really hard actually getting it together, and it may look just pretty bare right now, but I think when actually people hold the record in their hands and they get to see the layers and stuff of it, they'll be pretty impressed.
Yeah, I love that. So, you created a video for Tear Gas, and I think it's Rammstein style too. So how important is it for you for the future that you created this kind of stuff as a matching with your music?
I didn't think of it as Rammstein style, but actually now you say it, like it does. There is elements of that.
They do fun videos, don't they?
We were just, I was like, yeah.
Because of your makeup.
Yeah. It's more like the actual like funny side of the video. I think was like Dan came up with the idea, but was super inspired by like the Foo Fighters and the Beastie Boys, like all the old like funny videos that we grew up watching and remembering. Like everyone remembers like the Learn to Fly video, and it was just something really fun for us. But we actually like just had the best time shooting it. Normally you're standing in a room looking super serious and moody all day and doing 100 takes of a song in slow motion. It's like, we've done it. Those videos exist. So yeah, we had such a good time actually.
Yeah, I think as well, like there's a lot of music videos out there. And I think this is not an insult to any of our previous directors that have done our videos beforehand, but like I think it's hard to get people to watch them because people's attention spans are so short these days. Yeah. And like, I mean, I don't watch that many music videos, but if there's a video that has like a narrative to it or like has something a bit different about it, it definitely engages people more. So I think it was cool for us to like try something different in that sense, because like Sam said, we've always just done these very like dark, very stylized videos that look great, and like
we will again.
Like it's definitely not the end of that for us, but it was cool to mix it up because we've wanted to do a silly video for a long time, and we've discussed ideas for like videos for years of like, oh, it'd be cool to do something ridiculous like this, but maybe the songs that we've released at those times have not been appropriate for like a joke video. But the timing was right for it, and like we were all super up for it, and yeah, we're all very happy with how it came out. It was, like Sam said, a lot of fun making it.
Nice. So did you feel any change after the pandemic, personally and with your band?
Any change?
Yeah, change. Yeah, did you feel any change for you personally?
Yeah, I fucking hated crowds and being around people.
The first show we played back, I played so bad. Like, I rehearsed like properly and like, you know, committed enough time to getting everything prepared. But then just going on stage, I had like a meltdown. I just played I kept playing stuff wrong, and like
it's not normal.
Get my head straight. So it was like my first show again.
It's not normal being on a stage and playing in front of people, and that becoming just. I think when you stop, because when you're in it and you're used to it, you're in the flow, you're in the rhythm of doing it for however many years, and it's just that's just what you do. But then if you're naturally an anxious person, like I think a few of us are, once you take that step back and then you walk out on stage and you don't have that rhythm again, you're like, oh, what the fuck do I say?
You did it for the last 18 years.
Yeah, but then all
goes out the window. Like if you're not like even really seeing people every day.
Yeah.
I remember like when we first started doing like any press, like first bits of press after the pandemic, I couldn't handle it. It was just bizarre. Like your whole routine's gone, and you almost like don't know how to talk to people anymore, let alone go on a stage. I mean, I just play bass, so I can hide away at the back. But like for Sam, having to like talk to a room full of people and like do the frontman thing, like that's totally different.
It was fucking weird. It was just weird because you go from doing it and just sort of just getting in that rhythm where it's just completely fine, and there's a level of just, I guess, like a different person. You just sort of get into that character and then just go, and then yeah, you come back and you're
like an actor on the stage.
In some respects, if I went up and was this boring now, we would have no career. So I have to go up and be a bit more excitable and a bit more louder than I am in normally. So yeah, it was just sort of uncovering that guy again and trying to be a bit more out there. Whereas I think the first show back, I was like, I can't look at you. I can't even look forward. So, and also the first show we played back was like a 500 cap show.
It was very intimate.
It was tiny, and we haven't done a 500 cap show in like however many years. So it was like seeing the whites of people's eyes, like just literally seeing people staring at you, and you're like, this is fucking intimidating. Like it was been fun to push to just get back to normal, but yeah, it was the first few shows was intimidating.
So it's better for you to play on Rock am Ring with 90,000 people.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can very much like distance yourself from the situation, and like it's almost like there's no one there because you're just on stage in your own little world with the band, and you just play the songs, and you like there's so many people. It's like it's almost too many to like comprehend. Yeah. So it's just like, well, we're just playing. It's like a rehearsal.
I'd rather do Rock am Ring or like Rock in Rio or wherever, or like to hundreds of thousands of people, than literally sing Happy Birthday to someone. I would literally rather do that.
It's also like whenever we play like Brighton or London and we know like our friends and family are there, that's like, oh my God, like my mum's seeing this, like, and the rest of the crowd doesn't matter. It's just like you focus on your own weird little personal people that are there.
You're a fucking rock star, so for you, people are nothing.
I don't know. I think rock stars are just humans. Like everybody's just a normal person. I think no one's actually that cool, really. I always think as well. It's like everyone takes a shit. No one looks cool when they're taking a shit. So.
But I think you are very.
You think I would look cool taking a shit? Yeah.
Okay. Normally, moderator like me are very shy and anxious too. Yeah. So I mean,
you like sit down one-on-one with anyone in our band, and people figure it out pretty quickly. They're all pretty odd and not the people you see on stage. But But yeah, like Sam says, it's, most people in bands are like that, I think.
But I think it's a good thing that you wanted to play with so many people, because you have good messages. So you're talking about politic things, mental health, climate change, the problems of our world. So do you have a message for now? We have many crises now. That's a real big problem. But do you have a message for the people in the radio? So what could we do better?
Yeah, I think what we could do better is just be kinder to each other, because we are constantly angry with each other in the way that we discuss things and the way that our dialogue is with each other, like we're literally at war with people we don't know. The real issues and the real problems that we face are the people that are in control, and the governments and the people that set these rules and regulations. Those are the people that you should be angry at, not at the people that don't necessarily believe the same thing as you. I think like a conversation and actually being able to engage with someone that maybe doesn't necessarily think the same way as you shouldn't necessarily be an argument. It should just be we don't agree, but that doesn't mean you're a bad person. I think conversation is a thing that seems to have disappeared with social media. Everybody has these statements that they put out, and if you don't agree with that statement or you don't share that statement, then you're a bad person. So yeah, I think conversation and trying to sort of reach into other people and be like, we're together, we're all in this together. You know, it's not like if the end of the world comes, it's not like you survive and I die. Like we're all going to go through it together. So we have to. We all have the same issues and we all have the same fate, I guess, at the end of the day. And you're only here once, so I think you've got to make the most of it. And yeah, I think just putting a bit of kindness out in the world, it may not seem like a big deal, but I think it does make a big change, because you know your words have consequences and actions, and if you're putting out positivity and being kind, that radiates, and that would make that someone that you've spoken to treat somebody else different. If you're negative and horrible and leave a horrible comment or say something disgraceful to someone, that sits with that person all day, and that puts them in a bad mood, and then they treat somebody badly because that's there. So I think, yeah, words and comments and statements have rippling effects that just go on for infinitely. So I think just trying to be kinder and trying to share a bit of love, I think, is really important.
I think you're spot on. I think
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a
good answer. I think if you don't like something, don't tell the person online. I mean, you can just go and talk to a friend about it, or you can just think it and then get on with your day. You don't have to like talk shit on people online. Yeah, just be a bit kinder. Try not to argue with everyone all the time.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was a good, that was a good sentence. So now I'm very melancholic in this word.
Now you're like, I'm going to go and fucking be horrible to someone.
No, I'm not horrible.
No,
never.
I'm joking.
No problem. So next year you're going on tour in Germany, in the best country ever.
We're coming home.
Yeah, you're coming home. So can we expect something? Is there something new on this tour?
Yeah, there's going to be a long set list. There's going to be a fun set list. We've got, it's going to be the first time people over here are going to be seeing us playing songs off of For Those That Wish to Exist. First time they're going to see us play songs off of Classic Symptoms of a Broken Spirit. And I believe it will be the first headline tour we do off of the new record as well. Because we have a tour in the UK in November with Biffy Clyro, where we'll be playing songs off of the new record. But then actually, I believe it's our first headline tour off of the new record campaign over here, so in Europe. So it's going to be really, really fun.
We've got two wonderful bands coming with us in North Lane and Sleep Token, who are both great. And I think that touring package as a whole is like, I think it'll be a really great show for people to come to. And I don't know if Sleep Token have been to Germany before.
I think they've done some festivals, but I don't know if they've done...
They've done some festivals.
But they're a great band.
So,
we saw them in the UK and they were fantastic.
And the same for North Lane. Like we toured with them a bunch. They're good friends of ours, and I think their album, I can't remember when it came out, but their most recent record is incredible. So I think it's going to be a really great show for anyone that comes along.
It's going to be an industrial fest. We're going to be very industrial.
Wear lots of latex and around sunglasses.
Us and North Lane are really bringing the party, and Sleep Token can bring a very somber beginning. It's going to be great though. We can't wait.
Nice. So you're not afraid of it because it's the first big shows in Europe?
Not in Germany.
Okay.
You're very kind crowds.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's so crazy that you all love Germany. I think we German people, we have to love more our country. Mm. So we're talking...
Your country's a lot fucking better than ours. Jesus Christ.
I mean, yeah.
I love England.
Yeah, it's a
but after Brexit, so my love is broken.
We're a bit embarrassed about it.
We're fucking embarrassed about Brexit. We're embarrassed about Brexit. We're embarrassed about the people that run our country. We're embarrassed about the people that try and run our country. We're embarrassed about the majority of the way that older people think in our country. So we just have to show that there are nice people from England. That's what we're trying.
We're sorry about Brexit.
Yeah.
We didn't want it to happen.
Most people in the UK didn't want it to happen. It was just old bastards that are probably dead wanted it to happen.
I think now it's actually happened and people are seeing the implications of it. I think a lot of people, if they had another chance, would probably go, let's actually just stay in. It's nice in Europe.
I think also a lot of people voted for something they didn't know what it was. I think a lot of people were fooled into thinking it was going to be something it wasn't. And actually now, I think if you did a referendum and a revote, I think there was no way that would go through now.
No. I mean, we've talked about this a little bit, like, I think even amongst ourselves and like our friends that voted in that referendum didn't really understand the full situation. You vote with your heart, but like Sam was saying, a lot of people didn't really know what they were voting for, and I think it was bonkers that people were given the opportunity to do it.
Honestly, the thing is with it as well is like we grew up touring in a van around Europe and just going through country to country and it being no big deal and it just feeling like home. It just felt like, didn't feel like we were in. That's what we should move. And it was but it's younger bands that are going to feel it. Younger bands that aren't going to be able to just hop in the van and do the stuff that we used to do without fucking carnets and stupid forms to get them into places. It's stupid rules made by people that don't travel and don't work in Europe. So fuck them.
Last question. So your favorite food in Germany?
Ooh. No. 9. It's I'm trying to think of our favorite restaurants.
We have
Mama.
What?
We have no many vegan or vegetarian options.
You have loads of vegan options, but this is from Austria. Yeah. But you don't get these in the UK.
I love that.
Yeah, you don't get these in the UK. These are my
favorite is with citron.
Yeah, the lemon one. Yeah, that's
They're
good.
not German though, so
No.
we're not counting them. They're unbelievable though.
We like vegans. Vegans around here is amazing. Vegans in most places in Germany. I think also there's always been good vegan food in Germany, in catering.
You know that?
No.
I don't know it in English. It's like potato knödel. It's the German word with sauce. It's typical with meat.
You had me at potato and lost me at meat.
No, I don't know the word in English. Knödel.
Is it nice? There's some. Do you know what, actually in Berlin has always been really good food for us. Literally everywhere.
We were just trying to figure out lunch today, and there's too many options. It's insane.
That's the reason I can't live here. Okay, so I moved to Munich because the many options.
Yeah.
I'm always trained every day.
Yeah.
So then I will cook for my own.
Yeah.
So
The vegan scene in Germany's always been fantastic, but there's actually too much choice now. So just they need to roll it back a bit. Give us the option of a vegan kebab, a vegan burger, and just be done with it. Yeah, there's just too much now. They've ruined it.
Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah, normally I want to talk with you about many topics, but we have no time. So thank you for everything. Thank you for your time. And yeah, I think I will be on your tour.
Cool.
I will escalate it in the middle. You will see me.
Sweet.